Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Pete's Dragon, the 1977 original. It is about 2 hours and 8 minutes long. Uh, that's pretty long for a 1970s era children's story. This is you might find that with The Godfather or something like that, but this is for kids, and yeah, it actually felt at least 2 hours long. I swore yesterday that I thought I had seen this film, and it's the kind of thing that maybe I only listened had like the record. I don't know, because none of this, not any of this, other than the dragon, obviously, is something I don't remember any of it. I don't remember the practical effects used to the very first time we see Pete and his dragon. Technically, they're lumbering through the woods, and Pete is just aloft in the air on what is presumably an invisible dragon. And they use practical effects as they don't have digital effects back then. There's no green screen. Yes, okay, there is a certain level of digital effects which were not good in 1977, despite what Star Wars was about to bring to the world. And there's a certain situation later on where somebody's on a ship and they're trying to steer it, and there's rain and lightning flashing, and whenever the lightning flashes, they turn blue. So it's kind of not really good special effects, but the effects they use to simulate Pete interacting with the dragon. Yes, there's times that there's maybe a human, you know, touching him, or something on a stick that he's supposed to be interacting with, that they then animate over top of easily enough. By the way, Don Bluth, a long-time veteran Disney animator, was the animation director for this, and I kind of know him mostly for his contribution to video games, such as Space Ace and Dragon's Lair. He's the one who designed the look of the characters for those Laserdisc video games that were very popular in the 80s, and just at least impossible for me to beat. Anyway, this is a musical. You would think that even though, yes, it's been 40 plus years, I would at least remember that this was a musical. No, it's it's chock full of okay songs. Um, I think they try something that's meant to be a little bit zippity doo wash, with razzle dazzle dee or something like, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't hit the mark as like zippity doo dah it would. Now put zippity doo dah into this movie, maybe you could see a movie on Disney Plus that features that song, but that is not the case. So we got we got just a story of a kid who lives in the wilderness barefoot with a dragon. Okay, that makes some sense of how he's surviving. The dragon is cartoonish. He's very sweet. He's very friendly, and we learn that he has an actual job. His job is to take care of kids that are in trouble, and in this case, Pete is that kid in trouble. He's being chased. I don't know at this point when we first see him. We don't know how long they've been together, but they obviously trust each other. They're like best friends, and he has nobody else. Neither of them have nobody else. Pete was purchased by some hillbillies to do all their work for them. Never mind that the mother and the father and two grown adult men, I guess that are her sons, are fully look like they're fully capable of work, but apparently they're going to leave this to an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, whatever, however old Pete is. They're going to leave it to him to take care of, and they're the first song in this movie is the hillbillies dancing and singing and flipping and tripping and doing all sorts of crazy stuff about their love of attacking, abusing, torturing, and possibly even killing a child. That's the opening number. Let's kill a child. Let's beat him, and just they go into detail about the types of torture they would bring upon this innocent kid for no other reason than it would bring them pleasure, and they wouldn't have to do the work they're supposed to do. these are just disgusting people. It's supposed to be funny, and to a degree it is, because the people who are performing it are genuinely, they're good. They're good at their performances. They're despicable, but and so they really sell it in a cartoonish way. If it was any just a slight bit more serious, you'd be like, nope, done. We're not watching this anymore. That's It's just awful. You want to see them get their comeuppance eventually in the film, and they do, of course. I'm not really ruining anything. In kids' movies, bad people get punished. That's the way it works. There's no ambiguous stuff in here. The kid gets the upper hand against his tormentors, and that's, he doesn't kill them, of course, but it's the idea that they're going to leave him alone. So that's the win in this. So if you're worried about, honestly, this is a 1977 film, if you're worried that maybe this child will not, have the scales balanced in his favor, and that he wouldn't get free of these awful, awful, awful people, then you'd be wrong. But in this case, yes, I'm just going to be clear. Pete's going to get the family he deserves. So, and in that, he meets a woman named Nora, played by Helen Reddy, and I'm like, she's singing her butt off in this thing, and you're just like, and I'm just like, I know this voice, so that makes me think that I've seen this before. But again, I may have only had the record. I might have to go check to see if I have the record still somewhere. But her dad is played by Mickey Rooney, who at this point is he's no longer the rosy-cheeked Irish boy that you've seen in a lot of the older Disney films. He's gray-haired. He plays a grandfather type figure who's always drunk. There's a lot of alcoholics in this movie. There's a big barroom scene where everybody is just dancing and flipping and smashing mugs down on the bar, and it gets so sudsy at one point that it's soap, but it's meant to be like beer just flowing everywhere, and everybody's kind of excited about this. Like, if I drank the way these guys drank, I'd be concerned about wasting all of this beer. That's a crime. It's bad. But they have a song and dance to get through, especially after Grandpa. Oh, shouldn't say Grandpa. Especially after Mickey Rooney, who plays Lampy. He's in charge of the lighthouse along with Nora, his daughter. When Lampy sees Elliot, who is Pete's dragon, while drunk, in broad daylight, and that's when he goes into the bar and freaks out and tells everybody he saw a dragon, and they just laugh it off. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, a snake oil salesman would be seen around this kind of turn of the century, 19th to 20th century era. There's no cars yet. I didn't see any here. Electricity exists, but it's still very much a backlot studio. It's very much a rural, small town kind of thing. This snake oil salesman is played by Jim Dale. He's amazing. His name is Dr. Terminus, and his assistant, who gets just as much screen time because he's as much of a legend, is Red Buttons, plays Hoagie. So the two of them actually make a hilarious team, and they're one of the best parts of the film, especially when they're trying to scam the people of this small town, which I can't pronounce, and neither can Dr. Terminus, which is the joke. They're trying to scam these people, and at first they're like, no, you scammed us before, you're not going to scam us again. By the time his song and dance is done, they're scammed again. And once he finds out about the existence of this dragon, who, in a wonderful scene where you get Mickey Rooney and Red Buttons together, drunk, and trying to find the dragon. When they find him, it freaks Hoagie, Red Buttons, out. And he convinces his boss, Dr. Terminus, to seek out this dragon, even though he's scared to death of it. So, yeah, Elliot gets in all sorts of trouble, and of course Pete takes all the blame because nobody believes the dragon is real, because Elliot, like I said in the very beginning, when it looks like Pete is walking around floating in the air. Elliot can turn invisible at will and is mostly invisible also to save on animation costs. Uh, Even if physical practical effects do cost money to make. Uh, it's fun, it's cute, it's it's about a half an hour too long, I think. Um, I think it's for its time. It was meant to be a showpiece for some pretty cool effects that don't stand up to time. Unfortunately, you have to. But I do love the mix of live action and animation. When that works right, it works. It works beautifully. And here, this movie is not meant to be taken too seriously. It's funny. It's silly. It's cute, and it's all about finding family where you can. It's Pete finding family with Nora and Lampy, and helping people out where you can with the help of an invisible dragon that you happen to have on hand. So yeah, this is I can't say you want to rush out and you're going to be blown away by it to see it. It's I don't think it's aged well, but if you have a love for this original film, yeah, seriously, you should have watched it twice by now. But for me, I'm gonna have I had marked off. I keep track of which ones things I've seen before, and I was sure I'd seen this film before, and maybe I have, but I have now that I've watched this, I have no mental picture. I have no mental picture whatsoever as to anything. Nothing came back to me when while watching this. So it was a new experience. I'm gonna have to mark that off as having never seen it before. So yeah, it's strange to me. But before I go on to other things, I have to say that there's another small cameo appearance in this from a character that was very big in the '70s as well, from in the '60s, really. From Gilligan's Island, Jim Backus played Mr. Howell. He plays, I guess, the mayor of the town, and it basically recurs. Every time he walks out of his office, he's part of a recurring bit where he receives some sort of physical abuse. His stairs get knocked away, or his cigar gets busted. All sorts of crazy stuff just happens to him just whenever he leaves his office, and he has no character other than I'm a bigwig in this town. But yeah, it was just fun to see Jim Backus playing yet another important man with not the lovey kind of speech, but it's still, Gilligan's Island, Jim Backus. If you're too young to know who Gilligan's Island is, then I'm sorry I wasted that 2 minutes there for you. All right. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing on Disney, but I do appreciate Don Bluth's work. And yeah, the songs could be better, but the characters are likable. Helen Reddy. So yeah, Pete's Dragon. Give it a shot if you want something a little bit odd that may not sit with you well from the beginning to the end. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, here's tomorrow's.
One.
One? Holy crap! What is number one now? It used to be 10 Things I Hate About You before we saw that on the last thing. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is going to be difficult because I have to admit something. I have not seen Coco. I know. I have the Blu-ray, and I bought it when it came out, and I still have not taken the time to watch it. However, Coco is not the thing we'll be watching here tomorrow. It is a celebration of music from Coco. So, do I watch Coco? I'm just going to have to watch the celebration of music from Coco, and again, everybody's pretty much told me everything that goes on. I know when to cry, and it's going to make you cry, and it's going to make you... It's one of the greatest movies to come from Disney. Pixar? Is it Pixar? Yeah, it's Pixar. I know it's one of the biggest, most popular ones, and I know I've wasted a lot of time not watching it. So this was inevitably going to happen. We're going to watch a celebration of music from Coco on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.